Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever time it is you are watching or playing JDQ for Tuesday the 18th of February. Thank you very much for downloading, for subscribing, or for jumping onto YouTube. However it is you are consuming your daily quiz, it is here again with another 5 questions for you today. So thank you very much for getting involved and for being involved and for playing along and for making it part of your daily. I've really got to start writing these intros down. I've for the 5 years, near 5 years, I've been doing the online quizzing. I've never really had a script. The only time I've had to have a script is if there was a brand partner and I had to, but even then I didn't have a script. I just had bullet points, or if I was supporting a charity, just so I remembered some of the bits and pieces. Other than that, everything that has been spoken about on all of the Thursday and Saturday quizzes or on JDQ has just been stuff that has come into my brain, which is a really, really bad insight into my brain at times. But yeah, so thank you for joining me today. Let's get on with the most important thing. 5 questions as always for you. Thank you so much. Again, I mentioned it yesterday, but thank you so much for sharing your scores and getting involved in Quiz Hub. That is part of a wider quiz hub that I am building. I've got 6 different phases for it. Phase 1 was to get JDQ up and running, but by the time I finished it, which is going to take a little while to do, but by the time I finished it, you'll be able to share your scores for the Thursday and Saturday quizzes for JVPQ. There's going to be a quiz database, so I'm going to upload all of my questions into there, which means if you're ever writing your own quiz, you'll be able to go in and you'll be able to sort of use my questions for it. We're completely free. I'm not charging for the database. It's free. You go to some quiz sites and they'll charge you for sorting questions out and stuff like that. So yeah, my whole database will be free. And then one of the final phases is to try and have sort of an interactive way to play, so that you can enter your answers in and stuff like that. There'll be a quiz directory, so you can find maybe a local pub quiz. That's a plan with that, so that everyone can, you can share your local pub quizzes and get people to come along to those and review them and stuff like that. So yeah, lots and lots of features being added to Quiz Hub. It's not just for JDQ. It's part of a much wider website that I'm building out. But considering I've learned everything from scratch, it's been brilliant to see the response and then really, really appreciate it. I've learned a lot of skills. I've been learning coding for 2 years, but I've learned a lot of skills in the last 7 weeks to get Quiz Hub turned around and get the JDQ leaderboards up and running. So to see you guys in there and registering and sharing your scores and on a daily basis is really pleasing. So thank you so much. It's a nice reward for the hard work that I am putting in behind the scenes on JDQ. But then that said, let's get straight into your quiz. Welcome along if you've just skipped the intro and got to this point so that you're ready for the questions. Thank you very much for joining me today. 5 questions then, as always, for you. Eyes down, look in. That sounds like bingo, but never mind. Eyes down, look in, pens at the ready, brains locked in. Here we go, your 5 questions today. Start with this for question number 1. Same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world was a regular quote from which cartoon series? When I had the pub before the pandemic, this was the my business partner and I were known as these. I'll tell you when I give you the answer which one I was. Question number 2. Which circuit is currently home to the British Formula 1 Grand Prix? Very much looking forward to that this evening. The big F1 launch. Couldn't get tickets. No one could. But I'll be watching the live stream of that tonight. Question number 3. Joseph Cyril Bamford founded which famous company in 1945? So Joseph Cyril Bamford founded which famous company in 1945? And number 4, the capital of New Zealand is Wellington, but does it sit on the North or South Island? So the capital of New Zealand is Wellington, but does it sit on the North or South Island? Your final question then today. This will be stuck in your heads, and I don't even apologize for it. Name the song from this. I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday. Parking by the lake, and there was not another car in sight. So many karaoke nights have been ruined by people who can't sing and singing this, and it is so long. Name the song. I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday. Parking by the lake, and there was not another car in sight. I mean, I've sung this, but I can hold a tune enough to not ruin karaoke nights. But there we go. Right, that is your questions then for today. 5 questions. So Dave will give you your countdown in just a minute. So make sure you've got your answers and everything ready to go. Yeah, we'll see how you did then after Dave.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So then, Tuesday the 18th of February, here are your answers to see how you did with today's quiz. Question number 1 then this morning was, same thing we do every night, try to take over the world, was a regular quote from which cartoon series? It is Pinky and the Brain. Pinky and the Brain, brain. Yeah, when we had the pub just before the pandemic, we gave it up at the beginning of March. If you've read my autobiography, you'll know. But yes, the Pinky and the Brain. I was known as the Brain because I was the brains of the operation, and my business partner and friend was known as Pinky because, well, for want of a better word, wasn't the brightest tool in the toolbox. Number 2, which circuit is currently home to the British Formula 1 Grand Prix? It is Silverstone. Yeah, the F1 launch is on tonight. If you're listening to this and watch this on Tuesday the 18th, the F1 launch is tonight. Very much looking forward to that event. Question number 3. Joseph Cyril Bamford founded which famous company in 1945? The answer is in the question. It's JCB. Yep, Joseph Cyril Bamford. Question number 4. The capital of New Zealand is Wellington, but does it sit on the North or South Island? It is the North. And your final question this morning was this lyric. I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday. Parking by the lake, and there was not another car in sight. It's Meatloaf and Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Yeah, it's like, I think it's 8 and a bit minutes long, that song, and yeah, it is very frustrating. I mean, I've run karaoke nights, and I kind of looked forward to and dreaded someone putting this in because it meant, oh, I've got an 8-minute break and I can toddle off and go to the bar and get a drink or, you know, use facilities, whatever it needed to be. But also it always seemed to be sung by people who cannot sing. And then you had 8 minutes of caterwauling, which could clear the pub. It's a good thing. Good song to put on at the end of the night. Anyway, right. Tot your scores up. How have you got on today? If you need a tie-breaking question, you know, if you're entering your scores onto JDQ, you do need a tie-breaking question. But also, if you're playing this to separate people that you're playing along with, here it is. The first Olympic Games took place in 1896. There were 9 sports. But how many individual events? I know I've done a similar question to this, but this is going back all the way to the first ever Olympic Games. So the Olympic Games took place in 1896. There were 9 sports, but how many individual events? So if you're using this to play against other people and separate your scores for today, nearest to it gets the point. But don't forget, if you're entering your scores onto JDQ, onto Quiz Hub, you need to make sure you've got an answer for the tiebreaker, because it has worked really well separating. I think there was one day last week where I think the top 9 all had 5 out of 5, but it was broken down by tiebreaker. So it meant we had an outright winner on the leaderboard. But yeah, nearest to this gets the point. The answer then is 43. 43. Well done if you got near to that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is the end of today's quiz. I'll be back tomorrow, the 19th, with another 5 questions. The irony of the fact that I'm using a punctuation question. There is a food question, there is a nursery rhyme, there's a movie, and there is a clip as well, but it is not a music clip. What could that mean? Well, it's not backwards music, it's not a music clip, it's not a TV theme tune. What could that mean? The only way you'll find out is if you join me tomorrow on Wednesday the 19th for the third JDQ of the week. Remember, if you're not subscribed on the podcast platforms, please do. My target and aim for JDQ is to get it into the top 100 of the podcasts, because then it shows in the charts, and that will just be brilliant. That is what I'm aiming to do. So please do continue to share. Please do continue to, if you haven't dropped a rating on it already, please make sure you do. If you're listening to this on podcast platforms, please subscribe. You get it's there for you then when every episode comes out. Do share it with everyone. If I can get it into the top 100, it will just be a brilliant achievement, especially with how many great podcasts there are around the UK and around the world. So yeah, if you could do that for me, I would very much appreciate it. Right, that is it from me then. I'm back tomorrow with another 5 questions. I'll see you there. As always, for me, take care. Stay safe.